everyone, and welcome to Boosting the Crew Workflow with Leon Mobile webinar. My name is Rafał, and I'm a member of support team here at Leon Software. I have two of my colleagues with me. They're Andrzej and Alexander, and they will be answering your questions in the questions window. So feel free to ask them anything with regards to the mobile app. This is the agenda for today. We will go to the main, right to the main screen of the mobile application. I will discuss the dashboard view with you, and then we'll go through section by section. And at the end, I will tell you a little bit about the plans we have for the future with regards to the mobile application. So let's start. Let me just switch to the mobile application view. So here I am logged in as a crew member. It is important to mention that this application is designed for crew members to see their duties, their flights, and any sort of information that come with it. As you can see, the main dashboard is divided into 5 sections. It also has those 3 lines here, which contain the information of the crew member that's logged in currently to the app, and the logout button to log out from the application. My schedule section is designed, well, first of all, whatever the crew can see here depends on the privileges given in the and the access given in Leon. So for the purpose of this presentation, we gave them the highest, well, we have the highest access to the mobile app, therefore we can see everything, but you can manage the privileges as you wish. My schedule section is a personal view only section of crew flights and duties. So the crew can see only their own duties and their own flights. It is designed mainly for the airlines. Schedule section is a little bit more developed and has filtering options as well as ability to see or to view maintenance and reservations, as well as other flights. Endorsement sections lists crew endorsements. Requests gives opportunity to request for duty. And currency indicates crew currency and recency on aircraft type. You can see a little red dot here. This dot indicates overall status of the currency. Now, if we move into my schedule section, as you can see, you can move the calendar to the next month and the previous month. And the months back. The view is divided, well, into 2 sections. The top section is the calendar view with simulator flights, positionings, duties, and flights. If you click on the tile, it opens the bottom section, which lists the duties or the flight details. As you can see, there's no filter in this section. There's also a refresh button and indication of when the calendar was last updated. If you obviously click on the refresh button, it will refresh the calendar view and uploads the duties if any were added during this time. You also probably noticed the color coding. The little icons in the top left corner indicate the type of operation. So here you see simulator duty or simulator flight, positioning with the bus icon, and flight with the aircraft icon. Then the tile color, if it's white, it means there are no crew, no flights assigned to the crew on the specific day. If it's green, there's a flight or positioning, if it's gray, it means that the journey log was inserted. The small labels at the bottom indicate the type of the duty. For example, in this case, it's O stands for office. Again, this depends on your operator settings regarding crew duties. You can also see little I flag next to the duty name. If you click on it, this flag indicates that there's a note inserted on this duty. If you click on the duty, the note is visible, and crew can familiarize themselves with this particular note on this duty. If we move on to the schedule section, I will talk a little bit more about this one because it's, as I mentioned, it has more options there. So you see similar calendar view. Again, you can move it to left, right, forward, backwards. But you see straight away that it has additional colors. So first of all, let's move on to the top section. Refresh button as it is in the My Schedule section. The question mark icon, which gives you some information about this view when you click on it. And this little pin icon, which is a filter. The filter is divided into two sections. The top section is for aircraft, and the bottom section is for show. Now, with regards to the aircraft section, obviously you can filter by the aircraft, filter out the aircraft that you, as a crew member, don't want to see in the mobile app. So you can simply click on an aircraft, or crew member can click on an aircraft and switch off the aircraft view. As you notice, the tile on the 30th, if it's switched off, turned switched off the flights for this aircraft. The bottom section is a show section where you can filter out certain duties or other operations. You can also switch to only My Activities view. Again, if I switch on that, you can see that certain tiles turn white, which means that me as a crew member don't have any operations on this particular day. And at the very bottom, you have switched between ICAO and IATA codes, and between the time zones, UTC, local time, and base time of logged in crew member. Let me switch back on the view of the full app. There are certain additional colors that are available in this section here. And you can see purple color for reservations. You can obviously click on that and see the reservation details. There's a brown color for maintenance. As you can see, the maintenance details here. And on the same day, you see the stripy brown, as you do for the 20th, which indicates the maintenance option, so non-confirmed maintenance. Now, if we, as I mentioned, this view also allows crew member to view other crew members or other flights that the crew member, logged-in crew member, is not assigned to. So, for example, if you click on the 10th, you can see that there are other flights available. The crew member is not assigned to those flights. If we click on the 4th, you can see that the logged-in crew member, STA, can see his own flight as well as another flight. The difference is that on this flight here, the crew members will be in bold letters, indicating that this is the flight the crew member is assigned to. Now, in the bottom section, as I mentioned, you can see the details of the duties and the flights. You can also click on the specific flights and see further details. So the schedule details. Here is a little triangle icon which indicates that there might be some additional information, in this case notes for the airport. All the times here are in Zulu. Then moving on to the PAX section, crew member can see the PAX details assigned to this particular flight. Again, this little icon, the arrow icon, indicates the additional information. Clicking on it will show you preferences of the specific passenger, as well as additional notes. And then moving on to the checklist, you see all the checklists filled in by the operations teams. Again, there is a little icon indicating additional details, such as landing permit details, or in the top, you have handling details as well as the file. It is possible to open the file by clicking on it, and if a crew member clicks on it, the file opens in the browser window. FTL section is the section where crew member can see his FTL calculations to make sure that the flight is legal. It is important to mention that this section is inactive if the crew member is not assigned to a flight. So if I was a crew member, and I will show it to you in a second, that's not assigned to a flight that I edit, I will not be able to access this section here. In this section, crew member can also change the reporting times by clicking on this little icon here, switching to manual, and then just changing the reporting time and confirming it. Okay, and this way we've changed the reporting, also recalculated the FTLs as well. And lastly, after the flight is completed, again, depending on access levels, crew member can fill in the journey log by clicking on specific section, inserting times of the journey log, and clicking next. Let me just cancel it. As well as inserting fuel data. Fuel data can be inserted as LBS, but it also can be inserted in the different units. For example, 3,000 liters at specific density. If you insert it like this, Leon will convert it into the default unit, which is LBS. At the very bottom of the journey log, crew member can upload a file from one's mobile, or take a photo of, let's say, paper journey log, and upload it to the journey log, which will then be visible to operations teams. If I go back just to show you the flight that the crew is not assigned to, as you can see, the FTL section is inactive, and the crew member is not able to access it. Moving on to the next section, there's an endorsement section. By the way, feel free to ask questions as we go. We obviously will stay afterwards to answer your questions, but you can also ask questions during the webinar. I have, as I mentioned before, two of my colleagues answering your or ready to answer your questions at least. So feel free to do that. Endorsement section is where crew can see his own endorsements. As you can see here, there's a color coding as well. So the blue and the date not highlighted, or the date in black, indicates that the endorsement is still valid. If the endorsement is highlighted orange, it means that it has less than 30 days on validity, and if the endorsement is red, it's usually indicated that it's expired, and crew has to basically fix this. Again, little triangle icons indicate that there's additional information about the endorsement. Clicking on it will open this section and show this information, as well as any sort of attachments, if there are any, as I mentioned before, attachments open in the browser window on the mobile device. Requests section is where the crew members can request for duties. This is the list of already requested duties. As you can see the details. This icon indicates that there are certain notes. If crew decide not to apply for this duty or change their mind, they can easily delete such a request, and this request will then disappear from crew pages on the browser, crew pages such as crew duties or crew panel. Now to apply for the duty, crew just needs to click on the plus icon, select the date when the duty should start, select the date when the duty would end, and select the type of the duty, let's say off day. Crew member can also insert a note, I don't know, it could be urgent, let's say, and then just save the duty. This duty is added on the list of requested duties, and it will also show on the crew panel once it's refreshed, where crew planners can either accept it or deny it. And the last section is crew currency, which indicates the currency of the crew member and number of takeoffs and landings on a specific aircraft. As you can see, it is also color-coded, which means that if the currency is valid, it's in black. If the currency has less than 30 days remaining on its validity, it's in orange. And if it's expired, it's highlighted red. As I mentioned before, the dot here indicates the overall status of the crew currency. And this is pretty much it about the mobile application. I can see that there are some questions coming through, and I see my colleagues replying to it. Now, as for our future plans, we have some with regards to this mobile app. I know that we are in the process of adding the check-in, check-out times being a little bit more visible in the schedule views. I know that we will start working on the application for owners, which will allow owners to request flights, which will allow them to see flights on their own aircraft. We also have some ideas on the voting portal. Our voting portal is not only about the mobile app, just to mention, but also about other features in Lyon. There are some ideas basically that our clients gave us, and we put it for other clients to vote for. But with regards to the mobile app, the ideas are such as inserting the journey log in offline mode, which would then feed into Lyon once the crew is online again. Endorsements for airports being present in endorsement section, and possibility of sending operational documents or documents to members and clients. There are some ideas on the voting portal. Um, I what I think that brings me to the end of the presentation. Um, as I mentioned before, if you have any questions, oh sorry, let me just see because I can see that there are some questions. The mobile app for owners. I can see that Rod Stanley asked me about mobile app for owners. It will be. It is a plan to create it as a separate app, so it will not be embedded in this current application. It's in the planning. It's in the planning stage at the moment, and the idea is to allow owners seeing their fleet, requesting the flights, and basically tracing what's happening to their own aircraft so that they're pretty much aware of it. Doing it as a separate application creates a simplicity, basically, rather than complicating the already existing one. So I hope that answers the question. If we know a little bit more about it, we will make sure that we will share via website. So I can see that Joseph Farrugia asked if there is an airport recency in Lyon. Will this show in the currency? This is something that I've mentioned that's already on the voting portal. The voting portal address, and this is for everyone, is request.lyon.aero. You can go there and see what ideas are listed, and then write to support@lyonsoftware.com and mention which VOT number you want to vote for. This is voting per operator, not per single person. So we will add your numbers to the vote. But the airport recency is one of the ideas on the voting portal. Obviously, the more votes, the more it's likely to be added. Let me just move to. So I'll just have a look at other questions. Not possible to save files on the device in iOS. Okay. I can see that my colleagues are doing a great job answering the questions. Let's have a look. That's pretty much answered. I think yes. I mean, we will stay. I will finish the presentation now. We will stay for a while online, so feel free to ask any questions. I know that you might have been listening or not, and not concentrating on asking questions. So we'll be here for a few more minutes. Feel free to write to us, and we will answer them. Thank you very much for coming to the webinar and attending the webinar. Have a nice day, and I hope to speak to you soon. Okay, bye.